been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Hold up. Yeah.
It's the sword shop.
We're already on to the dance party portion of the day.
It's the sword shop. Melodies of the world.
Spread the message of the world.
Men, women, boys, and girls.
Hey, our planet rock is so work it.
On it.
You got the groove. Move.
Cheers before we get in trouble for copyright infringement. But I'm friends with Africa Bombada, so they gave me the rights to use that song. Good morning, or I guess good afternoon. So today's topic is watch lists. The major topic today is watch lists. And that's all we're going to talk about today, watch lists. So what is a watch list? Well, for me, a watch list is stocks that I want to keep an eye on during the day, right? As a day trader, my watch list. What am I going to be looking at today, right? How do I stay focused? My watch list, right? And what I try to do every day is I have a few go-to names. And I'm going to give you a secret. And one of the secrets is CNBC, right? Now, if you just laughed, there's no reason to watch CNBC. We all know that, right? Irresponsible reporting at best, right? Nothing from CNBC really helps you make money, except the ticker in the morning, because their ticker doesn't even provide anything but the same news story over and over again. Something about gold, something about Putin, something, and then every once in a while, stock goes by. The ones that do go by are the most active ones in the market. And generally, that's where you get a tip off of sometimes if you don't have a scanner that scans for percentage gainers or high volume, you could actually find a couple on CNBC. And today, the one that I was trading was PPCB, right? So first thing I saw was on CNBC because the first thing I do, well, second thing I do, I guess, the first thing I do is I look at my phone to see what the futures are doing. And then I turn on CNBC. And again, I don't even have the volume on because nothing what they're saying is important. But you'll see some tickers going by. But the reason we're talking watch lists and is because you need everything you can to stay focused, right? Now, for me, a watch list is vast or vast, depending how you say the word. I watch a number of stocks. Let me see if I can actually, I can't really show it to you now. Yeah, I can. But I won't. Here, I'll just give you a few. I'll give you a little couple of here. So here's a watch list, right? Bang. And I've got hundreds, if not thousands. But I know, and again, a big part of the reason that you come to my website and hang in the chat room is to be part of what we're doing. I am your watch list. I personally know what stocks are probably going to be the ones that we're going to trade. I'm your watch list. And that watch list tends to stay the same predominantly. You'll have a couple of stocks like CNBC, some weird $3 stock, and then earnings. So if you watch CNBC, get familiar with who's reporting earnings. There's about 190 different websites that tell you who's reporting earnings now. And that kind of gives you that heads up of where you want to be. Does that help you trade? A little bit. Still got to know what you're doing, right? Still got to know about Faux Show bros, blow off tops, dip and rip, the rip and roll, the gap fades, right? So I can give you a list of 40 different stocks every day. What's it going to do? It's just going to distract you, because which 40 are you going to choose? You should choose the one I'm trading, because usually what I'm focused on is the one that you should be in. But more importantly, what the questions should be is, which one is Faux Show broing? Which one is doing the chart pattern that you know makes you money? More importantly, more still, is which one has reported earnings that is doing the Faux Show bro and the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal? Because that should be the question, because if you get the answer to that question, that's going to be the trade that's going to provide you with the winning trade of the day. Because the Faux Show bro 1 minute multi-day VWAP earnings reversal trade, now this is where sound effects would be good. Is that a good sound effect? The trade that I just described hasn't failed. Bum, bum, bum. Explosions, graphics, naked women running by, fire. The trade hasn't failed in over 3.5 years now. I know that sounds absurd, but it's true. And there was only one to choose from today. Never heard of it. Never seen the symbol go by once in my life. But I heard of it today. And its name is BitDeer Technology Group. Anybody heard of it? Not me. But that's why I love trading the setup. Because you could just give me 4 letters on a list, and I could go back and check those lists and check the stocks. And I say, hey, what is this? I don't know. Did it report earnings? It did. That's why it's on our watch list. And then it does that thing where it does the Faux Show bro. And if you guys don't understand what a Faux Show bro is, let's elaborate. The stock market likes to shake people out and fake them out before the move up. It's the fake out, shake out, breakout. Faux Show bro. It's been working since the dawn of time, since I began trading, which is the dawn of time, as the grandfather of day trading. So the Faux Show bro, this trade has been working for me forever, right? So the fake out is where a stock, you find some support and then you break it, and then you come back above the support level that it broke earlier. Fake out, shake them out, and then break it out. Fake out, shake out, break it out. And you had a couple here. So here was a mini one, fake out, shake out, but it didn't really do anything. And then it broke down again just to break another new low, then come back, test that area, do a little Faux Show bro dance once again right there. Then it breaks the VWAP. So if you see the fake out shakeouts underneath this blue line, this fancy, wonderful blue line, and the orange line, which is our multi-day VWAP, 1 minute multi-day, even though you think you may have missed something, and I'll explain why this trade is so special to me, that red line up there that I just drew. The reason this trade is so awesome is that it's been working since I've been trading since 96, and we used to buy the stock when it would just break the high of the day, the 930 high candle break, and you still got paid. Prior to that, let me just put the stock up there for you if you don't know, BTDR, no idea, don't care. But you see where before it broke the high of the day, it went back into the green, right? So it opened higher, went down first and then went back up. Stocks that would tend to go back into the green, we'd want to buy those also. So 1339, right? Right there. Okay. So let's walk through the process. Did they report earnings? Yep. Is there a fake out shakeout? Certainly is. Is it breaking over today's VWAP? It is. Is it breaking over prior day VWAP? It certainly is. Is it going back into the green? It is. So the more savvy you get to this trade, you'll be buying them down here and here. The reason this trade is awesome is that we used to buy it when it would go back into the green, and that was enough momentum to provide you a winning trade. Before that reversal trade dawned on us back in the 90s, we would just buy new high breaks because the stocks would tend to shake people out, fake them out, and then you just buy the high break. Now that we swear by the VWAP and prior day VWAP, it's getting us into a trade, right? And if you're taking notes, this is the best part. This is a trade that has been working for a day's pay or a profitable trade prior to me discovering the wonderful world of VWAP. Now the VWAP is getting me into a trade that I would normally be buying it, at 1339 or 1370. Now I'm getting a heads up that I'm going to get into this trade. I could get into the trade earlier. Plus the VWAP confirms that next leg is going to happen because stocks that report earnings that get back above the VWAP tend to go higher, especially if they get over prior day VWAP and then go green, otherwise known as the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. So fake out, shake out under the VWAP, fake out, shake out at the VWAP into the green. And look at this lovely candle right there where the rookies all got shook out one more time. It was just another fake out, shake out just for good measure because they didn't really want to let anybody make the real money until they kicked that one last person out. But our stops are the orange and blue line. We're not getting out of the trade. We're getting in as they're trying to shake people out. And then look at this wonderful return on a stock that I've never heard of just because they reported earnings and broke VWAP. And that's trading. And that's why you need to be in the chat room with me. You don't got to sit there all day. Nor do you want to. I have nowhere else to be most of the time. So I stay here all day. And we're getting into the last 2 weeks of summer. Everyone's checking out. And the market's kind of checking out too, right? It's not going down because we don't go down anymore, right? We understand that. This is just a pause. This is not a selling. This is not selling. The market's not going down. That'll, again, if UVXY starts to rally and then we get some, real volume to the downside, this is nothing. Don't get excited. We thought August 18th might be a big sell-off, and right now it's 12:14. None of that's happening. Could it happen later today? Sure, but right now it's just an average, typical day where we went back to some of the stocks that we've been trading, and that's what I'm going to highlight today. So this was the earnings reversal. This is now, if you guys are keeping score, 1,075 in a row that have worked. Faux Show Bro, VWAP break on an earnings report. That goes through the multi-day VWAP. And if I had an applause, well, actually, maybe hang on a second. We should get a sound effects board like we used to in here. I used to have one. Where was it? Cool. It's like I had a whole button of pages. Where is it? I can't even see that. That's pretty funny. That's a good sound effect. Anyway, I was just looking for an applause sound effect. Sorry, I don't want to get distracted because we've got a lot to get to. On a very boring day, there was still a lot that went on. So let's review. And again, that's what this midday show was supposed to be about, right? Generally, there's not any new idea generation going on at 12 o'clock. There could be. And if something does come along that's interesting, I'll address it. But generally, between 12 and 3, yeah, I'm broadcasting on YouTube. I'm going to shut it off in here anyway. So we were talking about watch lists. Hold on, let me make sure the other room is watching. Speaking of watch lists. That ain't it. Preferably, you want to watch it on YouTube right now. All right, now we're good. Hello again. So, how are you? So, from the surface, right, looking from space, today is a boring day, and I said it would be. But underneath the surface, there's been 73 different trades, hundreds of opportunities, and they just keep on happening over and over and over and over again. Right? So we were talking about watch lists, right? And the other day we had, no joke, 36 stocks on our watch list. Did that serve anybody good? No. Because as a day trader, what you want to do is you want to stay focused on 3 or 4 names. So the watch list sometimes will get you in trouble because there's so many names on the watch list, because there are a lot of stocks that are moving and doing things. It comes down to comfort zone, price of stock, activity, comfort zone. Comfort zone meaning, one of our members loves trading Eli Lilly. I never look at Eli Lilly because, first of all, I don't trade it. 99% of people that I know that trade don't trade it. So I tend not to look at it. And you know what? It's not on my watch list because I don't care. I don't care what Eli's doing. I'm sure that Eli Lilly's doing. I don't care. Nor do I ever want to look at the stock other than earnings day. And that's the one, 4 times a year, I'll look at Eli Lilly on earnings day because that's specifically, when there's going to be more activity. What I look for as a day trader, right? You want to go where the money's going, where the activity is, because then you have less chance of manipulation, less chance of, and I'm not going to say rigging because you love rigging. Rigging is good because we play the rigging of the market. But when there's too little volume, for instance, on some small cap stock with 48,000 shares on it, it easily can be manipulated by the powers that be or the players that control the float, who are usually the insiders, and you just don't know what they're going to do. But these pump and dumps are also a lot of fun if you just know how to trade them. So there was a stock, again, going across my scanner today, PPCB. You guys know about it? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. we'll talk about it right here. So the pump and dump, if you don't know, it's generally a biotech stock. It's usually biopharma or therapeutics or something scammy like that name, biopharma. When there's a biopharma involved and it's a $2 stock, it's generally a pump and dump. Therapeutics is another big word, or biokinetics or something bio, something. It's always some bullshit stock, right? That, well, this is bizarro looking. There was another one. I'll show it to you in a second. Wait a minute. I thought this was the one. Hang on. Let me just see the longer term chart. No, this is a weird stock. I don't know if any of this is real now. I don't know what I'm looking at here. This is very bizarre looking chart. That's a daily. Strange. But the only reason it came across the scanner today was there was unusual volume and a large percentage gainer, right? And that was here. That was at 4 o'clock in the morning. Anybody awake trading? No. But because it did that, it came across my scanner and it already had been pumped, dumped, pumped, and then dumped. So when they dump it, right, and it's been pumped before, we keep an eye on it for what? The Faux Show bros and VWAP breaks. So you could trade any stock you want. And let me just tell you something, friends. $6 biotech pump and dumps are actually more dangerous than trading $770 Eli Lilly stock. Sure, Eli Lilly, you buy 300 shares, it can move 7 points out of nowhere, but you know it can. This is the type of stock that you're not expecting it to suddenly drop 50%, but that's what they do. And you're not really expecting to lose 50% on a trade, but these stocks are more susceptible for 50% haircuts out of nowhere because they're garbage. And there's a guy out there or a person ready to dump all of his shares onto you on whatever bullshit news this thing's on. And I think this one was the one that was up on because it got promoted to the NASDAQ. Yeah. So just because the stock got promoted to the NASDAQ from the bulletin boards doesn't warrant it going up 500%. But in this case, it did. But there's another one I wanted to show you here. So there's like, I think it was SNGX maybe, which could be a short right now. VTAK. One of these was like a dead stock for like, there it is. So I like when these stocks are like, just drifting down on the way to zero and then they pop up because, they're being short squeezed and they're interesting to play for the day. SNGX. Same kind of thing. Oh, that was pumped the other day. It's actually getting a third pump. Well, my point is there's 3 of those every day, right? There's always a biotech pump and dump. And you could add those to your watch list each morning, or my favorite way to build a watch list is to go back to earnings reports from the prior couple of days, because if something reported earnings, and especially if you made money on it, like AMAT, TTD, FTNT, right? If you've made money on it and it's a stock that had gotten pummeled on earnings, right? Remember, AMAT got hammered, TTD got hammered, FTNT got hammered. And then you remind yourself we're in a bull market. I'm not going to keep reminding you that we don't go down anymore. One day we will, I guess. One day. But that's how you stay focused, right? So if there's no specific earnings like a BTDR today, why not go check our old friend AMAT, right? It's a bull market. AMAT is one of the biggest chip manufacturing companies there are. And stocks like this are not going to stay down, even though their earnings report was quote unquote bad. There is no bad in the bull market on quality stocks. There's moments of weakness. Inevitably, this stock will be back at all-time highs. You know it. Everybody knows it. Nothing stays down in this market except pump and dump bullshit biotech stocks, right? You got to remember what you're trading. So what I like to do is I go back to the AMAT. Now, this is just 3 days ago, right? So why not grab the data from the 3 days? It's all right. It's only 2 days. This was Thursday, right? So Thursday into Friday. But Friday, you had Thursday night, you had your hammering. Friday morning, we had a decent trade on it. At the open, we had a decent trade on it. And then it kind of went and did nothing, right? But we had 2 positive bullish trades on a stock, even though it got hammered because we wait for those setups, the fake out, shake out, breakouts. And inevitably, we got stopped out. And then we fast forward to today. Hey, you guys remember that stock AMAT? I do. Is it still on the watch list? Sure is, because they reported earnings on Thursday. And we traded the crap out of this on Friday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to watch it the following day in case there's some more people looking at dollar cost average or possibly cover their shorts. That's a good idea, Kenny. I know. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to wait for that setup that I love so much. Kenny, was that a faux show, bro, at the open? And did it go from the blue line to the orange line? It certainly did. Damn, Kenny, I missed that. So did I. So you know what I do is if I miss a trade, I don't get the fear of missing out because I know there's going to be another trade any minute. Or I could just sit back and wait for AMAT to come to me. Oh, look, it did. So then I wait for it to set up that chart pattern that I love so much, otherwise known as a faux shakeout, fake them out, shake them out, and then there's the VWAP break. Break them out. And if you're in AMAT right now, awesome. And you see that other stock? Yeah, guys heard of Intel? I'll show it to you in a second. You know why Intel's on our watch list? Take a wild guess. Because they reported earnings. And then they had news with the government. And now the stock's on the watch list. It's also Intel, so it's always on the watch list, but now it's front and center. But more importantly, let's go over the AMAT re-entry day. If you missed the first move, and again, I've been talking about this at length, if you're afraid to trade the open, don't. It's the simplest way to do it. If something doesn't work, don't do it. If something doesn't work for you, don't do it. If something frightens you, don't do it. Wait till you can get that happy feeling. And maybe that happy feeling is waiting for the trade to set up the setup. I know that sounds redundant, but you're waiting for the setup to set up. Wait for the setup to set up on the stock that's on your watch list because they reported earnings. You see, it's all one big, long, continuous journey that we're on. Hey, what's on the watch list? Stocks that reported earnings. Should you go back to them and check them? Yes, you should. How many days? 2 or 3 days. When do I take it off the watch list? When the stock stops acting accordingly, or maybe when you lose money on a trade. So AMAT, right? We waited patiently to make money on it on Friday, and we got paid, right? A couple of faux show bros, got paid, got all the way up to 167.50, just like predicted. We got out near the top on that one. You should have been very excited to be looking at AMAT again for a buy today. You were, weren't you? And then it actually did a thing where you hoped you were in it, and then you won, and then you waited, and then there it is. So let's talk about it. And the reason that this trade is phenomenal is that it replicates, duplicates, and repeats itself over and over again. Your job, because this is a job, is to wait yourself. Patience is hard, first of all, but this trade instills the patience in you, because if you've missed the move, the beautiful blue line to orange line that pays us consistently, and then you waited, and you wait some more, and you wait for the chop. You want the chop. You want people to lose money as you're stalking this trade, and then you see, haha, look at them suckering these people out of that trade. That's the shakeout. So let's say they're buying here and they see that stop. If they're buying here and then they see that double bottom, that's where they place their stops. Look how they went and got them. And just for good measure, they break that low one more time. Then you break the VWAP. So in every trade that you do from now on, right, you should say to yourself, why am I buying this? Well, it's breaking over the VWAP, and it just did the fake out, shakeout under the VWAP. So if you get the faux show under the VWAP, you know where your target is, orange line, and then some. You don't know it's going to end then some, but the orange line is your target. It already did it once, right? But now the wonderful part, and I don't use that word, lightly. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. It's lovely. If you're buying 62.60 VWAP break, the fake outs and the shakeout areas are your stops, and that's it. So if you wanted to know, well, what if this thing doesn't work? Where am I going to sell it? How much am I risking? There it is, right on the chart. So it's telling you exactly how much you're risking. So again, you do the math yourself. I can't tell you how many shares to buy. I could just tell you where you sell it. So even if you're buying 3 shares, you put 1 stop here, 2 here. You're buying 6 shares, 3 shares here, 3 shares there. You understand the math here, right? You got 2 stops. No matter how many shares you have, 1 stop here, 1 stop there, because we try to do everything in increments, because you never want to get out of your entire position at one price, even when you're losing, because quite often you'll get faux show bro. So you try to outsmart the faux show, and it's telling you it already fooled people down here. So now you're buying the VWAP break, and you place your stops where they got fooled. And again, one of these days it's not going to work, and you will get rolled over, and the stock will stop you out, and you say, damn, that one didn't work. But lately, every one of these is working. And that's why I just go back to taking the same monotonous, redundant trade, and you'll make money consistently. And that's what day trading is all about, making money consistently and take some of that money and then buy the cues. Well, you can leave that last part out. I don't want to distract anybody. You all know where I think the market's going over the next 3 years. I don't have to repeat it. You all understand we're in a bull market and we're in seasonality, and we might have a sell-off in the next 6 weeks. And then what? We're going to rally for the next 3 years afterwards. So it's almost insignificant if it happens or not, because we're going to rally anyway. Sorry, I don't want to get emotional. This trade works every time it shows up. So there it is, AMAT. Why were we watching AMAT? Because they reported earnings. It's still on the watch list. And I'm going to give you a hint. AMAT's always on the watch list. You got to have a few go-to names, right? ASTS, RGTI, right? Quantum names. Everybody's got their own watch list. I like to add and subtract all the time. Like, for instance, BMNR, right? Used to be on the watch list. Now I don't care about it. You know why? Because I don't like the stock anymore. I think it's going to 0. I don't want to watch it. So I scratch it off the watch list. For now, it could always be promoted back to the main watch list. But now I want to watch stocks like TTD. Why? Because I like the stock? Nah, not really. But they reported earnings about a week ago, and the thing got slammed in a bull market where nothing stays down unless you're going out of business, and chances are TTD ain't going out of business, so I watch it. And even though this chart looks like a disaster, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 days in a row now, since we put it on the watch list because they reported earnings, and we like to keep stocks on the watch list that have reported earnings that keep cooperating, TTD remains on the watch list. So now you know, TTD for the win again. How about a little faux show, bro? 1 minute multi-day VWAP collision at $52.26. using a whopping 30-cent stop. Woo! Getting paid again. You guys remember SBet, right? SBet? Yo, you guys got me on YouTube? Just making sure everybody's got me. So why is SBet on the list? Why isn't it on the list? It's been on the list since we banged it out after the pump and dump way back 2 months ago. Tomorrow, guess what's still going to be on the list? SBet watch list. It's always on the watch list. But now it's on the main watch list because they reported earnings a couple of days ago and had a little pump and dump, got ripped and rolled, got smacked down. Definitely want to watch it. And then look what happens to SBet this morning. Little Faux Show, bro, pre-market. By the way, the market is still trying to go down, but this time's a little different. UVXY is perking up. Anybody is still short the Qs? I'm still short the Qs. I don't even want to talk about it because it's just a miserable trade. I'm still short 300 shares right now, and I'm using the high of the day. They're not getting me out. Sorry, not the high of the day. I'm looking at if they go green, I'll cover. But for now, we had an algorithm predict that August 18th was going to be a big sell-off about 3 months ago. I got to be short today, even though there's nothing telling me I should stay short because UVXY is at down 40 cents. But I'm short right now. Just throwing that out there. All right. But I want to go over these trades. And again, this is how I could, again, I got 300 QQQ short right now, right? But this trade's already been paid for by the high quality trades that set up earlier, like this SBet wonderful trade, which I joined in way late, but still, because of this market mechanics and this trade that we do, it really works out well. So there's the fake out, shake out, VWAP break. The stock ripped. Remember the other trade I just showed you? Just wait for the trade to come to you. There's no fear of missing out. There's always another trade. There is zero fear in this dojo, right? Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it? So you wait, right? And then you get this lovely, what do we call it? The W or the ass crack VWAP break, but more importantly, VWAP break. I know I'm on YouTube. Go to YouTube. Go to that link I just gave you. And by the way, I'm shorting this wolf. Sorry, got to trade. I'm short. Just shorted a little bit because I've been waiting to short the shit for the last 3 days. Sorry to distract you. I'm short. And I should have been watching this. And again, you see, I should be short already. VWAP break. This is what we call a jiggle and a shuffle consolidation VWAP break. Usually you consolidate above VWAP and you rip higher because we never go down. This stock, I've been stalking for a short and I just missed the perfect entry, so I don't go crazy. But I just nailed some of it at 90, and now I could probably add to it if it goes back to 10. So now, if this thing goes back to 10.10, which is kind of what I want, if it breaks it, I'm not even going to be freaking out unless it breaks over the double top at 10.20. That's why I only went small, because I knew I just chased. So I'll do 300 shares, planning to add 1,700 more because it's a $10 stock, right? So now the reason I go small, just in case it starts to plummet, at least I got something. But now I'll start working my order. All right. I didn't mean to put a trade on, but I've been waiting to punch this stock in the face for a couple of days now. And by the way, this is just me being a shorter. When I see stocks go parabolic, all I want to do is crush them. It's just me. I hate every stock. I'm a true bear. All right, now if it rolls over through 987, I'm probably going to add to it. Now I can start putting stops on already, because now that it didn't spike up in my face, I'm feeling a little better. Now, obviously, a tight stop would be the 96. I don't want to be that tight, so I look at the bottom range, which is the 10, the 10-10. There's the 10. 10-10 is the VWAP. Chances are you don't want to see stocks breaking back over the VWAP either. So now I'm just looking for the profit takers to show up on this piece of shit stock that just went from $2 to $10, right? Sometimes rational thought does work. Stock just went from 2 to basically $11 today, right? You tell me this thing can't pull back 60 cents? Well, but while I'm waiting for that trade, let's talk about the other ones. It was GDRX long. And if you guys listen to me in the morning, so here's the other trade that I did this morning. And if anybody's still in it, compliments to you. You know what you're doing. Big fan of yours. You're going to be a consistent trader. And I love it. Wait, hang on a second before I blow my own trade. All right, now I got my wolf ready. So GDRX, right? Why am I looking at it? Well, you know I'm Scan Man, right? So picked it right off the scanner live today on my morning show. See that move right there? That wasn't me, because it happened at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? But fast forward, that candle puts it on, sorry, that's a 9 o'clock candle. That candle got this thing to hit the scanner. Percentage gainer, unusual volume. That's what we need. That's what we want as day traders. Volume, unusual volume. That's unusual. Unusual volume and percentage gain. They usually go hand in hand. All right, cool. So, oh man, I really wish I would have known about this. Give it a second. Let it form its wonderful faux show bro, because most stocks will faux show bro at one point. And then look what happens. You get little fake outs and shakeouts. You know, you broke a new low, and then it turns and breaks VWAP. And did I buy it right there? No, because I missed it. I bought it right here. When it broke back over the spot where it found resistance before. Broke it. I'm in 460, looking for it to go back to the double top. And 460 gets me 487, or 4 5/8 to 4 7/8, as you old school traders know. And it got paid. And then it looks like it's about to break 5. It hits 5, and I'm like, uh-oh, we should sell some at 5, because something usually bad happens on the first test, and then the bad thing happened. They rug pulled it, and we sold it on the way back down. But then, if you have my charts, which I know most of you do, look at this wonderful new setup. And this is as good as it gets. And let me put my chart up on the wall and hit the bid just in case you can't see it. If you don't know, here you go. So here it is. So when the fake out, shakeout, breakout happens, I like anytime you get a fake out, shakeout underneath the blue line, and then it breaks back above the blue line, that usually triggers buyers, right? But when the orange line presents itself as the support for the shakeout area, have I lost everybody? Sometimes I just think I'm talking to myself, but that's why I'm trying to deliberately talk slower now. If you haven't noticed today, I've been talking real slow, really deliberate. I want to make sure after Saturday's session and we had our class that everybody's following along. This trade continues to be the trade, and nothing's ever going to change in my life, because this trade works, and it works good on stocks that are in play. GDRX, right? So the reason that this became my favorite trade of the day, it's not because of the money that we made. It's because of the ease of use, the understandability. Is that a word? I hope it is. The understandability, the easily understood. When a stock breaks the VWAP and it holds the prior day VWAP, that's really telling you that this thing does not want to go down. We already know that a faux show is important and the faux show, bro. But if the show part holds that prior day VWAP, that should give you the extra incentive, the zero fear to put the trade on to buy that VWAP break. And in this case, if you're buying that VWAP break at 465, you got your stop right there telling you that's as much as you need to risk. And in this case, you don't want to let break down under the show area and the prior day VWAP. So why not buy it back? You missed it the first 2 times. Buy the third time. 465. This time you get over the 5. They still rug pulled us. We had to sell it. But then look what happens. Right after we sold it, no more than 7 minutes later, faux show VWAP break. Try your luck again. Buy it back at 480 with 12 cents of risk. And in this case, you got back to the 5 and you get paid again. And in this last one right here, wish I was in it, little faux show right there at a VWAP, consolidating at VWAP. They couldn't even get it to break under VWAP this time. And if you guys know about GDRX, this isn't your typical pump and dump piece of garbage stock, but piece of garbage enough. You know, again, it was a great idea. They help pay, for your drugs. You sign up for their plan and blah, 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 whatever. And long term, want to see something cool? Here's the 3-year chart. And the reason I do have this stock on my watch list for the last 3 years is I've been waiting for it to come out. Sorry, it's been like 5 years already. Wow. What's that look like, my friends? Where are my classroom people? That's the Andy Dufresne. And every monster trade that I've had, Carvana at $7.50, that went to $350 a share. Palantir at $7.50 a share, that went to $180. AMD at $2.50, and it went to $250. Every massive trade that I've ever had in my career has started with a shitty-looking chart like that, otherwise known as the Andy Dufresne pattern. What is the Andy Dufresne pattern, you asked? Great question. Well, the Andy Dufresne pattern is when a stock that had a moment in its life completely collapses and then goes sideways for an extended period of time. And for this stock, it's basically been 3 years of traveling through the muck or the sewer pipe that Andy Dufresne works his way through to come out the other side in the rain, and then he runs and escapes to Sewataneo. And that's what usually happens after you come out of the Andy Dufresne, like what is now my infamous trade, the Carvana 750 Andy Dufresne trade that went to $413, or the original Andy Dufresne was AMD from, this was one of the biggest Andy Dufresnes and Kardashian bottoms I had seen in my career. And obviously we all know what happened to AMD. And it's got to go way back. One of my favorite chart patterns of all time. Andy Dufresne for 3.5 years broke over your multiple time frame VWAP, and she gone. And of course, one that you might still be in, Rambus, which Andy Dufresne for about 8 years, no joke. And then it came out. We had our fun with it. I'm no longer in it. I still like this stock if anybody happens to still be in Rambus. Rambus. All right, wait a second. Let's add to this wolf short. Hold on a second. All right, hang on. I don't want to start losing money while I'm sitting here because I'm having a conversation. All right, all right, I'll add to it soon. But again, listen, I'm not going to get faux show broad on a short position. Breaks over the VWAP, breaks over that 1020. The stock's probably going to $30 today. Not with me in it. That's why I went small. Cost average right now is $9.93. But at 1010, and again, if they do what I think they're going to do, well, hopefully they don't start ripping, I'll just get out. It pops over the VWAP and then rolls back over, I'm going to add to it, or I just get out of my 300, 400 shares now. And now I got to wait. Hang on a second. And this is why I don't trade while I'm trying to show people other things, because now I'm just going to sit here and trade this stock. Which now could take, again, an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. All right. Well, I added to it. So now I'm putting limited risk on. I'm only going to be risking a couple of more pennies. So if it doesn't pull back now, I just get the hell out. I just added some size to it. 1010. So now all I need is a pullback to 1002, 1003, and I could get out, make some money. Now I've got 3,000. Now I've got 3 million shares short. So I hope it pulls back a nickel. All I need is a nickel now. Let's go. And if you caught what I just said, so now I could be in this trade for the next 20 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, or however long it takes, because you don't get into a trade on the with a time frame in mind. That's why you don't trade when you have to leave. You don't have to trade when you're distracted. You don't want to trade unless you have the wherewithal to let the stock do what it's going to do. Sometimes people put trades on. They're like, all right, let me do one last trade before I go. You're going to lose, because now you're telling the stock what you need to happen in a time frame that you feel that it should happen in. That's not how trading happens. So if you're thinking about, let me put one more trade on before I walk out the door, don't. You might as well just send me the money, like I'm going to lose on this wolf trade. Wow, I thought I had it. I thought I nailed it there. Somebody hit the bid. Anyway, I got my stops and I don't got to worry about it now. So anyway, going back to this QQQ short that I have on also, right? I'm already factoring in that I'm going to have to cover it, right? But, it's a $575 stock. I have to let at least test those highs and the prior day VWAP. So as long as it's below these two levels, I got to sit here and suffer with it because I have to see what happens. And that's trading. A lot of times you're going to sit in a position until something worse happens or you make some money. Like this wolf. I'll fuck you up! I just covered 5,000 shares. That's right. Scared you? What, you think I was going to take a loss on that trade? Fuck that shit. I told you all I was looking to do is make a nickel. There you go, 5,000 out, 805. 5,000 out at 03! In your face! You know what I was going to lose on that position? What? You think I'm losing money. Why don't you wake up from that fucking nightmare that you're having? I don't lose. That's right. See that dollar cost average my way out of that, bitch? Yeah, that's right. Nickel at a time, baby. Nickel at a time. Didn't cover it all yet. Come on. I want to get some at least at 998 if we can. But I just covered the majority of it. You know why? Because I don't like to trade anymore. Right? I wasn't getting scared. If I had to eat the whole loss, I would have if it would have broke the high of the day. Fed the beast. Got my freaking 6 cents out of it. Done. I don't need to be a hero. Hope I didn't scare you. So anyway, let's go back to this QQQ short. Oh, by the way, now that you've covered some wolf short for a nickel profit, because this is a banger of a trade, right? Now you put a stop on because you're not going to let it go back above where it came from without getting out the rest. Now I'm not letting it go. Right? Now I worked my way out of that by shorting some more at 10.11 and 10.12. Bang, bang. I would have taken a freaking, $1,000 hit if it would have broke 10.20, but it didn't. So now I say, hey, good thing it didn't break over there. Let me get the hell out of most of it. And now I'll hold on to a couple thousand and hopefully makes, if it rolls over here. But now I'm not going to let it go back above that exact price, which is $10.13. So now the if-then statement is, if above 10.13, eat it. If not, hold it short. Right? Algorithmic trading. By the way, is anybody in GDX long? Anybody watch my morning show? Anybody watch me? Anybody here? Anybody know they're alive? If anybody's struggling with their trading, did you take my class on Saturday? Right? The one thing this is not about is watch lists. Okay? It's about coming to the room and hanging out with like-minded individuals that know what they're doing. And I know what I'm doing. And if you're going to attempt to be a day trader, you should learn from the two guys that know more about day trading than anybody else on earth. And now I'm probably going to get stopped out of those last 2,000 shares of Wolf anyway. Who cares? That's why I got the hell out of the trade, because it wasn't working. Luckily, we got out profit and some of it. So if you've been struggling, and I know you have, if you've been trapped in a bull market and you're a bearish kind of person like me, it's tough. It's a tough environment to be a trader because a lot of what you want to do, you can't do, like shorting stocks. And damn, I want to, because shorting stocks is a skill that I possess that most people don't. But you know what? It's a skill that I got to keep to myself right now, because right now it ain't working. And the one thing that differentiates me from other people is I accept that I'm wrong. It took me a long time to accept that I was wrong. And I'm wrong every day. Every single day I'm wrong. You know why? Because I think the market, and I don't say this out loud all the time because it's just ridiculous. I think the market's going to crash every day. You want to know why? Because I watch the news. Anything ever good on the news? No. And I always think somehow that's going to translate into the market. It never does, because the market's disconnected from reality. And the reality of the market is it's going higher. And by the way, look at that wolf trade, huh? Right? That one freaking penny kept me in the trade. So now I can cover this thing. If I want to get out now, back to making, 1 cent, at least not losing money, right? It's always better to make something than not to, right? So now I can hang in there, because now that little tiny moment in time, that 1 cent kept me in the trade. Maybe this time it rolls over and we get paid more than a nickel. Or we just sit here for the next 6 hours or 4 hours, like watching paint dry. But that's it. That's part of trading. Patience. That's why you don't do trades when you don't have the time to put the trade on, because the trade tells you what to do. All right, I got to run. That hour went by faster than any hour I think ever. But listen, friends, we had 8 different trades today on a whole collection of weird stocks. But the pattern, the faux show, you fucker, faux shit's going to get me anyway. See, I shouldn't have said anything. You bastard. There went most of it. Anyway, trading for nickels here. I'm dancing for nickels. All right, I got to go. This trade, and again, this earnings reversal trade that works every single time, not this wolf me trying to play a pullback, chasing it and getting a bad print and having to work my way out of it. This is just me just goofing around like a moron. The trade that pays for all the other moronic trades that you're going to do, and trust me, we all do them. Take this earnings reversal trade, stick with these Faux Show bros and VWAP breaks. And if you're not familiar, come join the website, because it's all we do. It's all we do. It's all we do. All right? Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow too.